When it comes to Days of Our Lives, every fan has their own opinion, and Soap Hub is no different. For 5 days we sat and watched the good, the bad, and everything in between, and now we offer you a handy review, and a cheeky critique, of the Days of Our Lives week that was. Days of Our Lives, a Critic's Week in Review. Remember a few weeks back when we discussed Days of Our Lives' problem with balance? Yay, this week sure could have used some. Were you at all interested in finding out Eli Grant's Lamone Archie status? Too bad, so sad. Did you want to see Maggie Kyriakis, Suzanne Rogers, try and fail to get through to her baby girl? You did? Aw, at least you got one whole episode devoted to that storyline. And sure, it was a dud in half. What self-respecting Days fan expects Victor Kyriakis, John Aniston, to welcome the DiMera into his home? But you should be grateful. In addition to a lack of spreading the wealth, Days of Our Lives also seemed to shortchange some of the storylines and characters that they did use. Where's the fallout from Gabby Hernandez DiMera's Camila Banus big blunder? Shouldn't Jake DiMera, Brandon Barrage, have turned to his good buddy Ben Weston, Robert Scott Wilson, for some support? Rafe Hernandez, Galen Gearing, was found not guilty of the charges leveled against him, off-screen, like the whole of his trial. Ava Vitale, Tamara Braun, breezed back into town, Reed Rafe and Nicole Walker, Ariane Zucker, The Riot Act, and then, took Tripp Johnson, Lucas Adams, out to lunch? Why wasn't she taken into custody? It is an offense to impersonate someone if harm is caused in the real world, so surely the same applies to a real one. Ava's impersonation of Sarah not only led to Abigail Devereaux DiMera, Marcy Miller, being knocked unconscious and kidnapped, but it also caused Sarah great harm in that she wouldn't have been located if the scheme had gone off without a hitch. And people wonder why no one has any respect for the SPD. Also, and correct if I'm wrong here, shouldn't parolee Clyde Weston, James Reed, stay far, far away from Ben, another convicted felon? I get that this is Days of Our Lives, but can't a wee bit of sense permeate a tale or two? Further Days musings. I'm very, very confused by what's going on with Sonny Kyriakis, Zach Tinker. In the distant and not so distant past, looking at you Days of Our Lives, beyond Salem, Sonny acted as if he was, at best, mildly irritated by Leo Stark, Greg Ricard, and, at worst, incredibly pissed off by his presence. But now, he's so consumed with rage and shame, maybe, that merely talking about Leo causes him to break out in a torrent of tears? It doesn't track. It just doesn't make sense. Kudos for the shout-out to Maggie's hometown of Brookville. Days of Our Lives, DOOL, airs weekdays on NBC. Check your local listings for airtimes. For more about what's coming up in Salem, check out all the latest that's been posted on Days Spoilers, and for an in-depth look at the show's history, click here. Ad block test. Why?